Hi there, join me in this video as I unbox the Quick brand 861 Pro hot air gun station, show you what it looks like and do a little demonstration. The Quick 861 Pro hot air gun station comes in a box like this. The model I have takes in input voltage of 240 volts. It's a stated power of 1300 watts and the date of manufacture is 14th of March 2026. There's a serial number but I've just blocked it out. So in the box there is a user manual, the main hot air gun unit, the hot air gun handle. On the side, a 240 volt AC power cord, a packet containing earthing cable. This is the air gun holder. This is a box of 4 straight air gun nozzles. This is the 240 volt AC power supply cord. It is a 3-pin plug on this end and an IEC male plug on this end. This is an earthing cable. The earthing cable has banana plugs on both ends and it is also supplied with a detachable crocodile clip. The banana plug end is inserted into the rear of the 861 Pro. My kit is supplied with 4 different sizes straight nozzles. The smallest nozzle, NK1130, has an external diameter of 5 millimeters. This is NK2064. It has a diameter of 6.4 millimeters. This is NK2084. It has a diameter of 8.4 millimeters. This is NK2127. It has a diameter of 12.7 millimeters. There is a user instruction manual and these 4 nozzles fit into this box. This is the handle holder. It is fairly heavy. This is the hot air gun handle and there are 2 ways it can be held in the handle holder. One way to hold it is like this and the second way to hold it is like this. Here is the main unit with the hot air gun handle and holder. There is an air output nozzle from the front face. It is not detachable from the front, but obviously the air hose can be removed from the inside. In terms of physical dimensions, from the rear of the plastic fins to the edge of the front panel, that distance is 235 millimeters. The height of the unit from where the 4 rubber feet touch the table to the top surface is 159 millimeters tall. The external width of the handles is 214 millimeters. If table space is a premium, then each handle can be removed by loosening the 2 screws holding it to the body. At the rear, that's the plastic fins. This is the AC power input socket. This is a earthing socket and it allows the banana plug from this cable to be inserted. The label says input 240 volts AC, 1300 watts maximum, 50 or 60 Hz frequency. This unit has voice activated commands as shown here. The microphone for the voice commands works when the handle is lifted away from the holder. The base of the unit has 4 rubber feet. On this side there are vented slots and that allows the air intake hose of the blower unit to suck air in from here. The parts of the air gun handle. This is the anti-scald sheath. The shiny steel component is the heater assembly. If we look inside, there are 3 screws. When those 3 screws are removed, the shiny heater assembly can be removed. And this is the component that will eventually wear out in time and is the part that should be replaced. To fit the air nozzle, when the heater assembly is cold, obviously I can just do this. And then to give it a tight fit, I push this face into this face. And I will hear a click. To remove the air nozzle, especially when it is very hot, there is a gap between the air nozzle and the heater assembly. Slip this metal plate into that groove like this and pull. And I can leave the old one there, and if I put a new one here and just attach it, I can push it in like that, or I can pull it out again. So this is a good safe way to attach and detach the air nozzles, especially when the heater assembly is hot. The two ways to hold the handle, that's one way, and this is the second way. It must not be placed on the work mat. There is a protective film over the display face. I will remove that protective film. I will now power up the device. There is a push on and push off button at the front. Unit is powered on. The fan blower is working. This device has 4 channels, channel 1, channel 2, channel 3 and channel 4. I think a more accurate name for it is presets and not channels. After all, it only has one nozzle. So really, preset 1, preset 2, preset 3, preset 4. The factory default preset 1 is at 100 degrees and an airflow rate of 20. It has a temperature range of 50 degrees Celsius up to 550 degrees Celsius. The airflow range has a minimum grade of 1 and goes up to a maximum of 200. At the maximum of 200, the actual maximum airflow rate is 70 liters per minute. This unit weighs 4.3 kilograms. So the factory default temperature and airflow settings are for channel 1, 100 degrees Celsius, airflow 20. For channel 2, 260 degrees Celsius, airflow 80. Channel 3, 350 degrees Celsius, 120 airflow. Channel 4, 500 degrees Celsius, airflow 200. Presently, channel 1 is colored up, meaning that is the preset selected to operate. Shows 100 degrees Celsius, 20 airflow rate. It shows the fan turning. I can change the temperature with this up and down temperature arrows. If I want to change the presets for channel 1, let's say I want to make it 110 degrees Celsius and airflow rate, let's say I want to make it 30. Then press channel 1 and hold. It says channel 1 saved. 110 degrees Celsius, airflow 30. I'll change it back to the factory default. There's a cool button. If I press that, it says cool. What happens is that the heating element stops operating and I can see that the temperature is dropping. So it should start to blow cool air. Temperature still dropping, and eventually it should drop to the ambient room temperature. Obviously, it takes a bit of time for the heating element to cool down. If I press cool again, it says channel 0, so there's no channel selected. Press channel 1. It's back to channel 1 setting. I hope you can hear the blower fan working. Now, if I take the handle and put it into the vertical rest position, notice the display says the device has gone to sleep mode and the blower fan has stopped working. So this is in sleep mode. There is a magnetic trigger that knows when the handle is resting in the vertical position and automatically puts this device into sleep mode. I can turn sleep mode on or off with the left arrow. It says sleep is on. Now sleep off, and it's gone back to channel 1 operation, and the blower fan is working. If I press this again, sleep is on, blower fan has turned off, it has gone to sleep. So that sleep mode can be a useful function. If I press this up arrow, it says buzzer off. If I press it again, it says buzzer on, and I can tell from the speaker icon here, buzzer is on. If I press again, buzzer is off, and the speaker icon has a cross against it. Same thing, the sleep mode icon shows it's working. That's the password lock icon, which means no password. That's the microphone icon, which says voice activation is off. I press this down arrow to get voice command. I use the preset voice commands. Hey, quick!
Hey, what can I do for you?
Set the channel 1. Notice it doesn't work. The microphone icon is cancelled, so voice command is not working. The simple reason is voice command does not work when sleep mode is on and the handle is in the vertical resting position. So if I take the handle off the vertical rest and place it there, the microphone symbol is back on, and I can now use voice activation. Hey, quick!
Hey, what can I do for you?
Set the channel 1.
Set the channel 1.
Set the channel 2.
Set the channel 2.
Set the channel 3.
Set the channel 3.
Set the channel 4.
Set the channel 4. Goodbye.
Hey, quick!
Hey, what can I do for you?
Set channel 2.
Set the channel 2. Goodbye.
Hey, quick!
Hey, what can I do for you?
Temperature to 100.
Temperature to 100. Goodbye.
Hey, quick!
Hey, what can I do for you?
Airflow rate to 100.
Airflow rate to 100. Goodbye.
Hey, quick!
Hey, what can I do for you?
Heat off.
Heat off. Goodbye.
Personally, I don't see that I'll be using the voice commands. For one thing, when you're using it, the fan blower is working, and then I will also have the noise coming from a high-powered fume extraction fan working, so I think I will not be using the voice-activated commands. It is just as easy to control the device through the front panel because there are a lot of actual button controls here. The device currently has temperature units set to degrees Celsius. To change it to Fahrenheit, I press the up and right arrow keys together. It says toggle units, and it is now degrees Fahrenheit. Push again the up and right arrow keys. It goes back to degrees Celsius. This set button is to set the passwords, but I will not worry about that. Press the right arrow key and it chooses a different display. This is a graphical curve display. It shows temperature, air rate, heating power as a percentage of maximum, fan power as a percentage of maximum, and it is now operating at channel 1. If I change to channel 2, You see the graph has changed. If I press channel 3, changed again. I'll go back to channel 1. If I press the right arrow key again, it shows again a different display. This is now in mode 3, what is called furnace temperature mode. In this mode, the voice control function, temperature up and down buttons, airflow rate up and down buttons do not work. In mode 3 furnace temperature mode, long press channel 1, 2, 3 or 4 to enter the parameter setting interface. So press channel 1. So there are 3 segments I can set for channel 1. Segment 1, I can set the temperature, the duration for that temperature, and the airflow rate for that temperature. Using the temperature button, let's make that 210, and I can change the time, make that 25 seconds, and then airflow rate, let's say 30, 40 airflow rate. If I scroll down, I can change the next one, and I can change the next one. Then if I press channel 1 again, it stores it. This means in channel 1, the air gun will heat to 210 degrees, hold that for 25 seconds at a flow rate of 40, then go to 300 degrees Celsius, hold that for 20 seconds at a flow rate of 30, then go to 350 degrees, hold that for 30 seconds at a flow rate of 30. Press set and it returns up the menu. So that is mode 3, the furnace temperature mode. There is also a function to do temperature calibration every time this heating element is changed, but I will not run through that operation. I have here my Quick 861 Pro hot air gun station, and this is the hot air gun handle resting in the holder. For the kit I bought, the hot air gun comes supplied with 4 straight nozzles. I will start with the use of the smallest nozzle. To attach any nozzle to the hot air gun heater assembly, I just do a light fitting, and then I hold the front face of the nozzle against this plate in order to push the nozzle in. Now that represents a good tight fitting. Even when it's fully fitted, there is still a gap here, which is say about a 3mm gap, and the reason for that gap is simple. When the heater assembly is very hot, to remove or change to a different nozzle, I slide this plate in between that groove like this, and then being careful not to touch any part of the heating assembly and burn myself, I pull backwards and that nozzle drops in there. Then I pick up the next nozzle, lightly fit it in, and then push it against the plate, and the next nozzle is fitted tightly. Again, it will have that groove in there to enable this to be removed. Obviously, only touch these nozzles when they are cool, otherwise I will have to use pliers or tweezers. I will refit this straight nozzle. I have here a very old disused television tuner card, which I'll use for demonstration, and I'll use the heat gun to remove this integrated circuit chip. This is the chip I will remove using the hot air gun. This is Captain T2975A polyimide high temperature insulation tape for circuit boards. I have ordered some aluminium heat shield tape, but it has not arrived yet. Just as a demonstration of process, even though this is a waste circuit board that I do not care about and will not reuse, I will apply some polyimide heat tape around that chip in order to protect the surrounding components. And if I think that one layer of tape is not enough to provide heat protection, then I can always add a second layer. Alright, I think that's adequate tape protection. Power on the device. I will select channel 3 to give me 350 degrees Celsius temperature and a flow of 120. Put on my safety goggles since it will be blowing into the board and I don't want solder or any other component flying into my eyes. I will also use my Vivo XF250A film extractor. And here I have the Mechanic brand G17 tweezers. I'll use this to extract the chip when it's ready to be removed. I will apply rosin soldering flux to the chip. Select channel 3 because I want temperature 350 degrees Celsius, airflow 120. Starting the heat up. Turn on my fume extractor. Not coming off, so I'll increase the temperature to 400. Applied some Mechanic 63% tin solder to the contacts and added more flux. I'm no expert at this, just beginning to learn. I will try a bigger diameter nozzle. I will try the 8.4mm nozzle. Have to cool it. There we are, the chip is removed. Well, I hope you found this video interesting. Do hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more and help the channel grow. Thank you so much.